Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm here to talk about one stock that I think if you buy this stock right now, you're gonna make a lot of money. So sorry guys, just to preface this, I am a little sick, but I still wanted to bring this video to you guys and kind of just talk about this company because I don't think this opportunity is gonna be there for much longer, as we've seen from the stock's price action. So yes, I'm sick. My voice might be, a little raspy, but I did want to make this video for you guys and, talk to you about this stock. So if you do enjoy, be sure to smash that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your guys' support, and let's get right into it. So without further ado, this stock is Google. Ticker symbol GOOG or GOOGL. They're both, the same. Google's been on a tear. This past week, we see that they're up 2%, not too much, but this past month, they're up 17%. Past 3 months, up 47%. Year to date, they're up 56%. I caught Google. I'm up around 47% right now. Didn't put, nearly as much as I wanted to into Google, but still doing pretty good on the stock. Still, a pretty decent return for Google there, so can't complain. But the main thing that's driving Google right here is this is Market Dash right here. This is marketdash.io. You can use my 7-day free trial down below. No obligation to you. They have a lot of great information on here that you can't find anywhere else. So for example, I'm going to look at their PE ratio right here. This is very low. If we look at Google's PE ratio chart, we can see that it's pretty, it's been low for a while. So it's coming back up, but we look at, Google compared to a company like, let's say, Apple. Apple's PE ratio, if we go to Apple right here, we see that their PE ratio is 35.83. And this, company hasn't been blowing it out of the water recently. And they still have a pretty high PE ratio. So that makes me think, how is Apple's PE ratio so high and Google's so low? Microsoft, for example, they have a PE ratio of around 35 as well. So I think Google is, on par with both of those companies, and it's going to very soon be at that PE ratio as well. If it's not, then I'd be very surprised, especially with, the earnings that are coming in and how this company is moving. I mean, obviously, on Market Dash, let's look here. The revenue, insane. I mean, this is a company that's in the Mag 7. They're amazing. Free cash flow, same story. I mean, everything is up on this company. Everything they do is great. Their gross margin is almost 60%. They have that competitive advantage in the space they're in. This is a huge company as well. I mean, you see that they're over $500 billion just in assets. So I mean, I really do think this company is a steal deal right now. We see there's people that hold their portfolio almost 20%. Google. This guy bought it at $100 on average, and these people bought it at $37 on average. So people have gone Google for very cheap, but there's still people that are buying Google. There's still people dollar cost averaging up. This guy got it for 200. It's just, it doesn't really depend on when you buy it. It's more so, what you buy. So I feel like Google is a very good buy right now, and I wanted to go over their earnings presentation with you. So their income statement right here, we can see revenues are up 16%. Yes, the high double digits, the high teens is always great to see when you're investing in a company. That's a growth rate that is very respectable in any space, especially the cloud space, which Google is a big part of. We see their revenues, like stated up there, up 16%. Cost of revenues, we see that those are only up 13%, which is great. You want your cost of revenues to be lower than your revenues. That's great. And then we see this is their sector. So this is what I really wanted to break down and kind of show how Google makes their money. So a lot of it is from Google Search and other. This is including Google Cloud, Google Search, obviously, their ad engine. They're one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world. And then they have their cloud. There's a lot of other things that tie into this, but this is by far their biggest money maker. Another one that's, a fifth of that is 10,000, or not 10,000, but it's actually millions, but that's up 15% is YouTube ads. So I'm not sure if you had an ad before this video, but it made Google some money. They made some money. I mean, the thing about Google is that they have such an ecosystem to where they own YouTube. Like, this goes to show right here, the Google network, I'm not worried about that losing because their subscriptions, platforms, and devices were up 21%. That's Android. That's YouTube TV. That's YouTube. That's things of that nature. That's, every platform that they have, every device, the Google Pixel. There's a lot of devices that they have. So, I mean, it's really just great to see that that sector is growing so much because when you think about Androids and Google Pixels and those kind of phones, you think, not a lot of people have them in the US. It's mostly dominated by Apple. But you have to think that this is a worldwide thing. A lot of people throughout the world have Androids. It's just not really that big in the US. Even though it is big, people do have Androids. It's a lot bigger internationally. So that's something to think about with that. But I mean, I really like that's growing too, along with YouTube TV. I think that's going to be a big revenue driver. And then just YouTube keeps growing more and more. I watch a good amount of YouTube as well. I definitely enjoy YouTube. I think people creating content and then getting paid in the form of advertisements is great. No one's getting paid too much. No one's getting paid too little. It's kind of just, a great thing that they have going there that YouTube, Google set up. Google Cloud revenues grew 34%. Yes, 34%, 3 4. That's insane. There's not a lot of facets of any companies that are growing in the 30 percentile consistently too. So Google Cloud has been, taking a big share of the cloud space. Another one that's very prominent in this space is Microsoft has theirs, Microsoft Azure. And then also Amazon, AWS is the most prominent in this space, which is not growing at 34%, just to mention right there. Capital expenditures are just up an insane amount, 83%. They have to match every other company. This is why people have the fear of the AI bubble, which I also have somewhat. Makes sense when a company's capex is up 83%. That's a lot. We also see, I mean, free cash flow is up. That's what I'm most worried about. If their capex is going up that much, then if their free cash flow is still, respectable, then it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. So that's kind of the financials. That's kind of a little bit about Google right there. But this is something I didn't even talk about all video. This is probably categorized in the Google search and other. If I had to guess, I'm not sure exactly which one. It's either that or subscriptions, platforms, and devices. Waymo, Waymo, Waymo. I just want to say it 3 times just to get it in your guys' head. Waymo is going to be a big company. Okay. If you guys are a Tesla shareholder, a Tesla fan, I just want to let you know that I do. I had a Tesla. I enjoyed the car. I think that they're a great company. I think their stock price is a little inflated. I think it's based a lot on speculation. I think that Google is, somewhat a little bit more reliable in that sense. I think that Waymo has something already drawn out. They're already being used. It's kind of just scaling at this point. It's a proven product. So I mean, this stock could be over $500 a share, is what they're saying over here on Nasdaq. Pretty good site to look at some, articles. So Waymo has grown the number of weekly paid rides from 10,000 to over 100,000 in the last 12 months. It went from 50,000 weekly rides to 100,000 just in the last 6 months. Case in point, Uber does more than 200 million rides each week. Let's let that sink in. I'm not going to read it just word for word, but basically, if Waymo just captures half of this, they do close to 300 billion a year. Yes, 300 billion, which is insane. Because, I mean, look at the revenue that they did this past quarter right here. They did 385 billion. That's how much they did this past, I if you double that, it's pretty impressive. It's to say the least. So I mean they're doing really good, but then there's more. So Waymo is basically, I should have explained that, but Waymo is a driverless autonomous vehicle. It's like an Uber that you can call, to wherever you are, except there's no one driving it. It's a car that's self-driven. It's a Jaguar. It's all, controlled through your phone. You tell it where you want to go, things of that nature. There's nobody driving it. Waymo doesn't need to pay anyone. They don't need to worry about, human interaction, I guess. They don't need to worry about, there's a lot of things that are taken out of the equation when you take the driver out of the car that work in the profitability of a business's favor. Let's just say that. So Uber is gone, I think. I think Uber's kind of, done for. I think Waymo also has potential to take over the DoorDash and Uber Eats scene. I think that that's a pretty reasonable assumption. Waymo also reported last year indicating that its autonomous vehicles achieved an 85% reduction in injury, which is very important. I mean, these cars get in one too many crashes, they're going to be, banned from the streets, which would completely take out this facet of Google's business, which is growing very heavily right now. So it could easily expand by 2 to 3 times. I agree as well. A $1 trillion market for autonomous rides isn't out of the question. I think that's, a little bit conservative of a guess. The technology that they're using is called LiDAR. It actually works very well. And then this is kind of, this is what I take away from this video. If I took away anything, is Waymo can capture about 1/3 of the $1 trillion autonomous ride market, which is pretty, I'd say that's pretty reasonable. 1/3. They're already, talking about contracts overseas, over in, Asia. It's hard to get those contracts to pass over in Asia, and they're doing it. Google's doing it. I mean, they have that kind of pull. If anyone's going to do it, it's them. So This could generate annual revenues of around 300 billion. With a 50% margin, that's a neat 150 billion in profits. That's a 30 times or at a 30x earnings multiple, which is, almost what Google's around right now, which is historically what it's been around. That would imply an additional valuation of about 4.5 trillion for Alphabet. Considering that Alphabet is worth roughly $2 trillion presently, this could take the company blah, 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 blah. Basically, Google could be a $500 plus stock very soon here. I just want to say, I don't think with this, new information, I think Google could rise like this pretty soon. Um, I think Google's going to do this really quickly. They've gone up 72% in the past year. They just spiked right now because some optimism in their new Gemini technology. People think it's going to be good. But I really think Google is one of those stocks that could outpace every other stock right now because, I mean, look at this recent growth. I don't want to say we can see an Nvidia type move, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a move like that. Google's been undervalued for quite some time. I think that people are worried about AI taking it over, and that's totally understandable. AI is also a good search engine, but Google really did a great job with their AI, search features. Like, if I look up something like, I don't know, let's look up best stocks to invest in. Like, look at my first thing that or actually it didn't pop up, but when there's top stories, that pops up. Best stocks to invest in or let me just look up what is nuclear energy. What is nuclear energy? It'll just pull, something like this straight from an article, which is really helpful. And then if you ask kind of a more specific question, I don't know, what is the protein in dog food? These are really random questions, but AI overview just instantly. Google didn't even load for a second. It just pulls up this, article that talks about everything. It lists them out very easily. These are coming from multiple different sources that you can click on. It's pretty hard to beat that. And then you can also dive deeper in AI mode, which, I mean, this is just something that's on Google. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to add it. It's just there. It's an AI overview. Really like that. I think it, brought a lot to Google. It's a really weird thing to look up, but I mean, I just wanted to do something uber specific that shows Google's, power in that regard. So I do think that Google's a really good buy right now. I think that, you can look at this and say, oh, Google's gone up a lot. It's too late to buy. This company makes new all-time highs, all the time. If you didn't buy, I mean, look at Google's kind of just making this move right now. But it's just a lot, more pronounced because the price is higher in the stock. The multiple, I mean, the percentage gain in this move is the same, if not more, than what it's doing right now. So you can't just look at the graph and say, oh, that's a big jump because it's all relative. I mean, if we go to 5 years, it doesn't look as big anymore. But I mean, it really is just all relative. Everything is just being compared. And then we go to a year and then it doesn't look like a jump at all. So it really just does depend on all that, guys. I think that Google's, one of the best buys you can make right now. The PE ratio is really low in comparison to where it should be. It's still a really big company. They're paying a 0.29% dividend, which I like. I don't hate that. And yeah, I mean, I think they're a really good company with a lot of good buy ratings. They're beating their earnings consistently. And they're one of those companies that you can hold forever. You guys, if Google drops, I'm buying more. I mean, that's an easy, buy for me, especially if Google gets down to these levels, which I don't think it will. But let's say Google goes to 150. If Google goes below 200 again, I'm taking out a loan to buy Google pretty much essentially. So that's all I have for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to smash that like button. Also subscribe to the channel. I'm really sorry if my voice was annoying. Very sick right now, but I just wanted to make this video for you guys to show that Google really is a buy. I definitely do believe in Google a lot, and I think that it's one of those stocks that could change your life if you just hold it for a really long time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.